This is Power 98.7. And now you're listening to Power Perspective with Denzil Taylor, Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. to midnight. Taking your calls on 0861 987 000.
It's 9 minutes past 11 o'clock. It is Power 98.7 that you're listening to. And my studio guest is here. He decided I was going to have this particular conversation on the phone. And you know what? I always appreciate that somebody comes into studio and has a conversation here. And yeah, I'm hoping that Babsi would put the picture of the two of us on. Zithande Mbala. Zithande means
love yourself.
Love yourself. Love yourself. And that, of course, I was educated by, amongst others, Babsi. As soon as I said Zithande, she was like, love yourself.
That's right. And
yes.
They also call me Mr. President.
Call me Mr. President.
Yes. So, yeah.
Yeah. So here we are, Mbala. Entrepreneurship. And I want to talk about that and how one gets into that space and what it means about being black and entrepreneurial and funding in that particular footprint as well, and how tough it is. And then I want to talk about your journey. And your journey, if I'm looking, and I'm going to tweet a picture of this a little bit just now, is your journey is a stack of papers, documentation in front of you that is about 55 centimeters thick, 5 centimeters of documentation with, what do they call those green things? Tags.
The flags.
Flags. Every dotted place there are little flags engaged in there to go to specific pointers about, where, of course, the conversation we're going to be held. And on the other side of that, like I said, I'm going to take a pic of this, is toilet paper. Toilet paper. And I was asked just now, and you must see the pics, I just couldn't stop laughing. He said to me, Iwipe. Do you? and I mean, it had me. And I'll tweet that particular picture of my response. I just burst out laughing and had my head in toilet paper for a second and had to just regain myself. But yes, we're talking about, of course, the world celebrating Global Entrepreneurial Week from the 13th to the 19th of November. Zithande Mbala, Love Yourself, a South African entrepreneur, highlights, of course, with us now in this particular conversation, the difficulties faced by black entrepreneurs in receiving funding. His invention, the world's first smart toilet paper, and it is called Iwipe. Am I right?
That is correct, sir.
It's called Iwipe. And it began with a promising 3 million rand loan approval from the IDC for phase 1 of his Iwipe project. The project included the production of 100% biodegradable wettable toilet paper. However, what seemed to be a successful start was interrupted when the IDC froze the approval funds, citing a breach of context, and we'll get to why, where, how, and what that particular happened. And then, of course, Let's just look at where he finds his product at the moment. And I've got on my listing here, I've got Pick and Pay, I've got ShopRite, Spurs, and the Home Depot in the USA. And you said we've got listings for those, not necessarily, yeah, listings, but not necessarily in store.
Not yet trading.
Not yet trading. And we'll get to that terminology as
yes.
well.
Yes.
Welcome to Power 98.7, Zithande. How are you, man?
I'm very well, sir. Thank you very much, Denzil. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from here. I was born in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
And
So Gauteng,
yes,
and yeah.
And I grew up in the KZN, Mzimkhulu, and now my family lives in Pietermaritzburg.
Yeah.
But I spent most of my time in Johannesburg. I did my university here.
Yeah.
And since 2005, I've been in Johannesburg. So I'm home.
Okay, this is home.
This is home for me, yes.
Sure. And you know, I want to get to a journey of toilet paper in essence.
Yes.
But I also want to have, and for the listeners and for my own interest as well, to have an understanding of who you are. Sometimes an understanding of who you are tells us of the journey that you ultimately begin to take.
Absolutely, yes.
Sure. So let me start off with this question. When did you begin to get interested in toilet paper?
Very interesting.
Was toilet paper not working for you, man? Was the traditional toilet paper not working for you? You know, because I'll tell you, it comes in 1 ply, 2 ply, 3 ply, 3 ply now. You know, so you know what was not working for you when it came to toilet paper?
There's also newspaper.
There's
and leaves and rocks and stones. So we've evolved from different objects as humans.
And you're saying that's entrepreneurship in itself.
Absolutely. They're evolving from the stone, from the grass, from the leaves. To say, this is not better. Let's try something else. Until there was toilet paper.
Yeah.
Toilet paper has been around for the longest time, this innovation has been the best improvement from what was there before. People were using newspaper. Yeah.
I suppose water would also have applied at some point.
It's different parts of the world, people use different things.
Yeah.
But most parts of the world, people use toilet paper.
Yeah.
And the invention hasn't changed in a long time. Then I'm sitting. Of course, I studied Bicom accounting at university.
Right.
University of Johannesburg.
Okay.
Formerly known as Rand Afrikaans University.
Yeah.
With a beautiful, nice little story. I'll tell you if we have time. But anyway, then toward becoming a chartered accountant. I'm busy with my articles, and I've always been entrepreneurial in mind because I wanted to contribute in building our economy as an employer as opposed to an employee. In as much as I appreciate...
Was that the motivational drive? Or, you know, sometimes when somebody wants to do something, it's about personal enrichment. I want to invent something and become massively rich. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that drives a lot of entrepreneurs or inventors.
Yeah.
Sometimes entrepreneurs are different from people who invent and go and create things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Growing up, as students, we're told when you're a chartered accountant, you'll be very rich. Right?
Yeah, they told me that. They didn't tell me that in journalism. They just made it. They just made me known. They just said that it's going to be a poor, hard ride.
At our time in the late 90s, we were told that this is a career of the future.
Yeah.
There were many kids who pursued that career at that time in our generation, you know, and I was one of them. And we just knew you won't have any financial problems. But now I'm in the program and I'm looking at it that, okay, when you finish the highest thing you get a job. Then a job has a ceiling, definitely. You're not free indeed, but you will have no personal financial problems when you're working like that.
Yeah.
It then dawned on me that I wanted more. Like, I wanted to be more freer. To say, now, if I'm running a business, I don't have a ceiling. I can grow to the highest potentials of myself.
If you were running your own business.
Running my own business, as opposed
if
to
you're working in somebody else's business, then there's
as an employee. There was that realization. Then that was the time when I'm like, what can I do to run a business? Because then you realize that the GDP of the world is measured. The GDP stands for gross domestic products. So the underlying word there is products. If you're going to be part of the economy, you better be having a product. then there was then that quest to say we're going to have to find a product so we can start playing in the economy, because if you don't have a product, you can't play. And the growth of the economies is measured in terms of products, of course. It's not gross domestic degrees or gross domestic certificates or gross domestic jobs. No matter how many certificates we have, if they don't translate to products, our economy remains slim and small. Then, of course, then your eyes start thinking. I mean, you start looking at opportunities. And I'm also a prayerful person. You know, I ask a lot from the Lord as to, if I want to pray, what can I do? You know, praying like that and asking those kind of questions, seeking for something. Then my mind opened up to an opportunity that existed that nobody else was paying attention to. That, hey, we're using a dry toilet paper here. A dry toilet paper doesn't make...
What was wrong with dry toilet paper?
It doesn't make us clean.
It's come for...
Exactly.
You said it. It's come for years.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everybody has been using it for years, and everyone is focusing on softness.
Yeah.
As if softness makes you clean. Okay. Softness doesn't make us clean, no matter how soft it is.
Yeah.
Try the softest of all toilet papers. When you finish, you still need to take a shower or bath to be cleaner. Because it doesn't remove that. It only moves it.
Yeah.
That's the opportunity I was searching for. I'm like, if we can remove dirt, find a product that can remove dirt, we are in business. We have a product.
Yeah.
That it has to be a smart toilet paper. That's why ours is not just a toilet paper. Just like before there was a phone, it only could be used to make calls and receive calls, maybe send an SMS. Then there was a smartphone.
Yeah.
It could do that and more. Our paper can be used dry, just like any other soft paper, but it can be used wet as well. When you make it wet, it turns into a wet towel, like a wet wipe in a tissue.
Okay, so let me have a question for you at this particular point.
Right.
It doesn't come wet. It comes dry.
It comes dry.
But you can wet it.
You can wet it, yeah.
Okay, so I think I needed to make that particular distinction, so that it's, because I had a question in mind for you as you were carrying on.
Yes.
I was going to ask you what it would be the differentiating factor where, for example, children are concerned, little babies are concerned,
absolutely,
and you get wetty wipes.
Wet wipes, yeah.
Yes, and there's that little packet of that particular thing. So I was just going to ask you straight out, what then would be the differentiating factor between this particular product, which was my way of thinking, and wet wipes that I know is used within that particular space.
Very
and
good
you
question.
you are saying that it comes dry. It looks
like
and feels. It looks like a duck, feels like a duck, quacks like a duck. It is.
But it is a smart one.
But it is a smart one.
Because if you use any other toilet paper, try to make it wet, it's a mess.
Yes, of course.
Your fingers will poke and it's a mess.
Yeah.
It sticks.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't hold.
This one doesn't stick.
Okay.
It's biodegradable. For the first few seconds of wetting it, it's like you're using silk. Then when you flush it, it's biodegradable. It breaks down. Compare it to the wet wipes.
Yeah.
Price-wise, number one. Wet wipes, to get a pack of wet wipes, you pay about 40 rands or so.
Okay.
You get just a few, or maybe about 48. They do the same job of one roll of our toilet paper.
Yeah.
One roll of our toilet paper, you pay about 7 rands.
I was going to come to the pricing.
So price-wise, there's no comparison. We've beaten them.
Okay, so were you looking at other products? Were you, as an entrepreneur, as somebody who wants to invent something, who says, you know what, I don't like the ceiling, I need to explore further.
That's right.
One begins to set out on a journey. And most entrepreneurs that I've researched over a long time, and I would call myself someone of an inventive person myself, I look at a product critically, but I'm not yet at the point where, how do I better it?
Right.
You got to that point. So, you know, there's how do you better a screwdriver? How do you better a nail?
Absolutely.
How do you better, an egg, beater? How do you better all of these, a cheese shredder, all of these things?
That's right.
And were you looking at a lot of other products in general and putting them in front of you and saying, okay, there's a cheese shredder, there's a nail, there's a this, there's a that.
Absolutely.
And ruling them out
And
of possibilities.
we literally had to do that. Otherwise, we're not going to get funding.
Okay.
Because you're going into a space that's already occupied. People are wiping bomb.
Yes, of course.
Using different objects.
Yeah.
Then you're saying you want to use something better than what they're using.
Yes.
Then show us the benefits of what you're offering and whether or not it's worth a while to fund it to begin with. Then we compared the bidet, for example.
Yeah.
The bidet where they splash the whole bomb with water.
Yes.
And it's like, if your mouth is dirty, why flush the whole face with water?
Yeah.
And how much water are you wasting in the process?
Yeah.
Because why don't you just go for the lips and wipe the lips that are dirty? We compared it, we were winning. Because water-wise, to do the job with ours, you use literally 2 spoons measure of water.
Yeah.
You'll be clean. And they use 2 liters of water.
What other products were you looking at?
The wet wipes.
Okay.
Wet wipes.
But wait. Was your focus on toilet paper? Did you have no other things that you were looking at as I was illustrating that you were saying, I could better this, I could better this,
Oh,
I could
yeah,
better
you mean
this?
that. Okay, I didn't get that part. Yeah. Basically, I zoned into this. I never looked elsewhere for anything else. The moment I saw this opportunity, because these opportunities are like, they are flying away.
Yeah.
If you don't freeze it, somebody else takes it.
Yeah.
It was a perfect time. And at the time when we started, there were very few people who were using wet wipes. A very interesting example, we went on Dragon's Den, South Africa, 2014. We knew why we went there. We wanted to get the hype that something new coming up.
Yeah.
Then must have been 2015, another brand launches wet wipes.
Yeah.
For wiping the bum for the first time in South Africa.
Yeah.
Then we know we initiated that.
Yeah.
But they had the budget to go ahead of us and they did that. But the wet wipes were problematic. They've always been problematic. You shouldn't flush it because when you flush it at bigger scales, we're all going to call it plumber. They've done it in the UK, they've done it in the US. It's a problematic stuff. But what we've got here is magic.
So that's now I am where I want to be in the conversation.
Right.
What do you have here? It looks like a duck.
That's right.
It feels like a duck. It's quacking to me like a duck. It's wrapped the same way as a duck is, and so I'm going to call it a duck. But throw one of those toilet papers just across here, and I want to. And it feels like a duck
feels
as well.
As soft as the one you know.
Tears like a duck as well. Okay, so what I've got in my hand here, right?
What you've got in there
is
a smart toilet paper.
Yes, but the look and feel is like a toilet roll.
Absolutely.
Exactly like a toilet roll. I want the listener to understand that what I have in my hand looks and feels exactly like a toilet roll. It tears like a toilet roll. It separates like a toilet roll. It's got those linking things. It's got the little cardboard on the inside.
Just like
it looks like a toilet roll.
Absolutely. So the trick is,
tell me now, what makes this different from the toilet paper that I am using at home?
Put water on it. That's where the difference is. If you apply water on that tissue, it differentiates itself from the rest.
Okay.
Other tissues fall apart, and it's being freed from toxic chemicals.
Okay, no, let's do one at a time. 101 stuff here. Okay. So if I put water on this, it becomes magical. I can then utilize it as a wet wipe for when I am in the bathroom.
We're in the bathroom. So
okay.
What we say is wet half, fold over. Let me just show you this.
No. I'll get to you. I'll get to you. The illustrative part. I'm still with the 101 questions.
Okay, great.
So this looks and feels like toilet paper, and then you say add water.
Add water.
And then you feel the differentiating factor. It doesn't become mushy.
It doesn't stick.
And you then use it ideally.
Absolutely.
The second question then I want to ask is, a lot of people then automatically go to this question, and I'm also automatically going to that question, is what then is in here? Because now I'm beginning either to get a scientific conversation around this particular toilet paper, a conversation that says science is involved in a way in its makeup that differentiates it.
That's right.
What then is in here that's not in another toilet paper?
Maybe it's what's not in it that's in the others. I'll use a very simple example because we won't disclose much.
Yeah. No. I don't
some of
want
the
you. I
stuff
don't
is-
want you to,
yes.
give me. Otherwise, I'll be at home and I'll be.
It's our IP stuff.
I'll be in my garage and I'll be, working out how to make toilet paper.
I'll use a very simple example, right? In South Africa, we eat pap,
Yeah.
right? There's only two ingredients to make pap. You got water
And milli milk.
and milk.
Yeah.
But you got different forms of pap,
Yeah.
right? If you want the porridge,
Yeah.
the one that we have for breakfast,
Yeah.
you put water at a different time,
Yeah.
or you put meal in the cold water and mix it with hot water.
Yeah.
You get a different product.
Yeah.
If you want pap, you put meal directly into the hot water, then you get a different product.
Yeah.
If you want uputu from KwaZulu-Natal
very different.
and the Eastern Cape, you do it differently.
Yeah.
But you get all of these different products from the same ingredient.
From milli meal and water.
I'll just stop at that.
Yeah.
We figured out how to do it differently than everybody else does it. Everybody else does it the way they do because everybody has been focusing on making it soft. Soft
Yeah.
has been the premium word in the market before
Yes.
we came. But
Yes.
now we say, forget soft, think soothing. Ours is made to give you a soothing effect, which will make you clean
Yeah.
and have a healthy bum. So we free it from some other chemical because when you mix water and a component of toilet paper, which
Yeah.
may be highly bleached,
Yeah.
that bleach becomes active in water. And if you had a cut, for example, maybe you had a fissure, then you're going to feel the burning sensation. Ours is free from all of those. That's
Yeah.
why it's even safe on babies if you want to use it as a baby wipe, for mothers who can afford baby wipes.
Sure. So you're saying to me that there is no particular other ingredient in here, some form of, plastic and or fiber that holds it together that then begins to react
it-
with water in a particular
Absolutely.
way. There's none of that.
Otherwise, it was not going to be toilet paper. Would have
Yeah,
classified
no.
as something else.
Yeah.
It remains toilet paper, but it's made smart.
It's a different kind of millipap.
Absolutely. You got it, sir.
Okay. Question around the toilet paper sorted. So you have your idea.
Right.
You've got your concept. And you go to now people with money. And you go to, of course, is it the IDC?
In South Africa, unfortunately, there's only one place
Yes.
at the time, especially because we started in 2009.
Yeah.
There was only one place where you can turn an idea into a product and get funding.
Yes.
If you're only speaking an idea,
Yeah.
the IDC. There was a fund there that they were sitting on, which was funded by the DTI at the time. It was called SPI, SPII. So the direction led us there to say that let's go get that money because we got a product in our heads.
Yeah.
So we need to give back to your product, and it's a very expensive exercise. We needed at least $1 million to start developing.
Sure.
And the question that always came up was, how do you make a toilet paper wet? Then we had to make a dispenser
Sure.
to make it wet. But now we're realizing that, of course, not every home really needs a dispenser.
Yeah.
Because in South Africa, most homes, the sink is at a reachable angle.
Very good question.
When you
How
sit
do you make the toilet paper wet? Because it's in
Absolutely.
my hand, it's a roll, and it's
That's
dry.
right.
So how do I get past that particular hurdle?
If you live in an average South African home,
Yeah.
it's either the tub is next to you, the tap
Sure.
for the tub, or
Yeah.
the sink. You can reach it while you're sitting on
Yeah.
the chamber.
Yeah.
So that problem is solved. Only if you're in the office space
Yeah.
where the sink is outside, there you're going to need a dispenser.
Sure. Got you. So
That's a
in
different
essence, there's a
market.
dispenser then that comes.
It comes with it.
Okay.
Yeah, but for different
Yeah.
markets, of course.
Got you. I've dealt
That's
with the
right.
product. Now I see the dispenser, and the dispenser gets it wet for you. And so when you roll it, it would be wet.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you're at the IDC, and you're asking for R1 million.
Get to the IDC, the fund is up to R1 million, and IDC, they don't fund anything less than $1 million just
Right.
to begin with.
Right.
Your transaction must meet the $1 million requirement at least. If it's less,
Sure.
they send you elsewhere.
Yeah.
Of course, we met those requirements, and you don't go to pitch for yourself. They send you a consultant who meets with you. You brief them just like I just briefed you, and they see
Yeah.
the opportunity the way I see it,
Yeah.
and it goes on your behalf.
Sure.
And it must confirm to you that there is economic merit.
Yeah.
If there is no economic merit, there is no market for this thing, there is no gap in the market, there is no chance.
Yeah.
You don't even proceed.
Yeah.
then we confirm with the guy that there is economic merit here. No one is doing this thing. And if we can take the toll paper to the next level, we can play at a very big scale. We all confirm that. All he needs to do is to go and convince the ExCo, the decision makers at IDC. And he does a good job. Of course, there was a restructuring 2009 to 2011. They come back with the restructuring plan. Everything was sorted. And we were the first on the queue. They approved our project. This is 2011, March 28th.
Sure.
We got R1 million.
And you've registered your product and you secure that your product is protected in the space of international law and other.
Yes, what happens is you can't protect an idea, but you can protect a product. So we needed to have a product so we can file for protection.
Yeah, you can protect an idea as well. Yeah.
Yes, to some extent.
Yeah, to some extent.
Yes.
But somebody will find a loophole in it.
Exactly,
but when you've got the product, it's better.
Prototype. And then you can describe how it functions and all of that, and you can have patents and you can have other things.
At this point, you don't have a patent because you're still busy
developing.
Yes. Right. Okay.
Then we did that and we completed that end of 2011. It was just 1 year project. At the end of 2011, 2012, we were ready to protect. We started protecting, and we had our IPs registered. As soon as you finish having the IP registered, then you're ready for the market.
Sure.
Of course, then I was the project manager, so I was one of the teams of engineers, because we had to hire engineers to do the job. I did accounting. I'm not an engineer myself, so we're working together on that as a team. Then at the end of every milestone, then you get funded by the IDC. Otherwise, that $1 million, they don't put it in your bank account. You go spend your money, go to the IDC, show them the invoices, and they pay you off.
Sure.
We did it in 3 phases. When we completed this development, the last phase, due to me then was about 200,000 that was left.
From the million?
From the $1 million.
Sure.
That was going to be part of my package.
Sure.
And the engineers had taken their piece. Then they have a chartered accountant who comes and signs the books and approve the payment for the IDC. The IDC works with what this guy sends to them. So this gentleman then does the worst. It is around about this time, November. The laws of development says, and registration of patents says, once it's fully developed, don't wait more than 2 months before you protect it.
Yeah.
We finished in November, so by January we must protect. Otherwise, it may lapse the period of protecting.
Sure.
We may not be able to protect again. So this gentleman is busy writing exams, and he doesn't tell us he's writing exams. So what he normally does, every milestone he comes and he sits with us. We show him what we've done, and he writes a report that, okay, I've confirmed this job was done, so the money must be paid over to the guys who work. And the gentleman then, it takes more than 2 weeks to complete. Usually it takes a week to send to Addison, we get paid. Then the whole November was wasted. We're getting into December. Now we're panicking, like, hey, the time is lapsing. It's lapsing. Can you please finish your work? We're trying to follow up. What's the hold up? Is everything okay? And they started covering up at his work, and they said, he's writing exams. In fact, they didn't say he's writing exams. They said he's on leave overseas, something like that. Then we call again, and the person picks up the phone and says, he's writing exams, he's just finishing tomorrow. It was such, he was like, he's writing exams. But you know what's at stake here. And the guy freaks out after we found out that he was writing exams. And he writes an evil report. Instead of approving 200,000, he says 40,000. That's where problems started.
Okay.
Then we're like, okay, well.
How do you get to the 40,000 in relation to the bills that you were handing in? You're handing in bills that say 200,000. He gets to a figure of 40,000.
And it's consistent with the previous times.
Yeah. How do you get to that point where there is a gap of more than 200,000? Are you not looking at particular bills, or what was the reasoning to give you 40?
That was a guy showing us a middle finger to say that you are bothering me, as in this is what I'm gonna approve for you.
Okay.
Then the rest of the money, by the way, if you don't get it, it gets stuck. You won't be able to withdraw it again.
Okay.
It's the last milestone. Anyway, this is now long and short.
Sure.
Because of time. But at the end of the day, we went to IDC. We escalated the matter, and we got approved eventually, and then we got the rest of the money. But we escaped at the risk of not registering on time. But
Sure.
we were able to register on time.
And then that happens and registered on time and IPs are done.
Absolutely. Then the next phase now is to get to commercialize.
Sure.
At the time, IDC had just launched a new fund called the Technology Venture Capital, TVC. And we're told that, hey, you're in the program. This is for you. This fund is meant to take the products that were developed here straight to the market. Submit your applications there so we can take you through. Of course, we did that, knowing that our case is being built here, so we're at home. Then the guy shocks us and he says, "There is no economic merit here. Throw this thing into the bin." Exco has approved 1 million rands.
Yeah.
We've quit our jobs. We're in this thing now. We're taking it forward to the rest of the world because there's economic merit. At the time, America had started flashing wet wipes in big numbers, and they were backfiring. There was a big story on BBC and CNN of a fatback. You can Google it; it's still online, where they were pulling a busload size of wet wipes that were stuck underground in their sewer systems because people were flashing wet wipes trying to be cleaner. We were coming with a perfect solution for that.
And you've said an important thing here. You've now quit your jobs because it's got economic merit. You've got your prototype, IPs are sorted, and you're looking now into production and market.
Absolutely. There's even a perfect fund launched specifically for products like this
Sure.
to see them through to the market.
So,
and the guy says, "There's no comment." We say, "Dude, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We just got a consultant appointed by your IDC who went to your IDC Exco to approve this transaction, including the CEO of the IDC knows there's economic merit here. How do you as an individual just say there's no economic merit? At least I'm an accountant myself. Show me what you mean by that."
Sure.
For challenging these guys is a crime. You don't challenge anyone from the IDC. They will show you their true colors.
Middle finger.
I don't want to say things, but
They will show you what you use as toilet paper for.
So that's what they did to us. The guy was not going to cooperate with us.
Okay.
And it was the end of it. We literally had to leave him alone and move to another department.
Right.
And we go to another department, and this is now end of 2013. He has wasted a long 2 years of our time, 2020, 2012, 2013. We go to another department called Chemicals.
Right.
Chemicals department, they were so excited to see, especially with the story in the US or was developing, that this is the future. They said they approved it. At IDC, you got 3 stages of application, right? When you apply, you get to the basic assessment.
Right.
That's the most difficult stage ever at IDC. That's where most businesses get butchered. If you don't have any sense of economic merit in your business, they kill it there. That's it. Then you go to due diligence. If you pass it, due diligence literally is they send a team to come to your offices to prove everything you said. You said you have a product, they take. You have employees, they take. You have machinery invoices and all of that. Once they see the file, tick, 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 they take that file as a deal to get to the funds. That's it.
Right.
So we passed the basic assessment at Chemicals.
Right.
We're very excited that we're making progress eventually. Then we got to the next phase, the due diligence. Due diligence guy, he happened to have some association with the guy.
Somebody you had dealt with previously.
The guy that has kicked us out of the TVC. Anyway, this guy says, no, they passed you. I don't agree with them passing you basic assessment. These are 2 separate departments. You don't interfere with other departments under normal circumstances. He said, I'm going to take you through extended basic assessment. We've never heard that term. It doesn't exist. He created just for us. And this extended basic, we ask questions. What does it mean? How long does it take? What does it entail? What should we prepare? What do you need from us? He said, don't worry, we will show you what it is. And we started making noise about this because it didn't make any sense. We knew something was fishy there. Then you start poking them again, telling them what is true and what's not true. They'll show you again who you're messing with. And the guy was not going to cooperate with us, but we escalated all the way up when the pressure was mounting. Because all he had to do, his department was charged to do due diligence. Then he said, oh, well, I'm going to appoint a team of due diligence. He wrote an email. It's right here. These guys will come and sit with you. And the name of the person, he names the person that she's going to come and sit with you. She's the head of the due diligence team, and she will communicate the team members to you. Meeting is convened. This is now on the what? It's round about June, or is it January, around about January 2014.
Sure.
So we meet this lady, and she comes to us and she says, you know what? I'm the head of the due diligence team, as I've been introduced on the email.
Right.
And she introduces herself, and I'm with my team. And she's like, you know what? You guys have a great product. There's a great potential of this product in America, more than here. I see you've got letters of intent. By the way, at IDC, to pass basic assessment, you must have letters of intent, like proof of market.
Sure.
Pick and Pay must write a letter of intent that will take this thing on, or a contract signed or listing with Pick and Pay. Or you must have a compelling feasibility study or market feasibility study that proves that there's a market that will consume your product. You can have either of these or all of them.
Right.
Then you pass basic assessment. We have ticked all these boxes, that's why we pass basic assessment. And she says, yeah, I see the local market is just very small. Your product has a great potential in America. So get us a deal in America. We'll find you 20 million rands. We ship this thing via Agora, create jobs here. Great idea. But we're waiting for the lady to finish her sentence. Show us the money to go to America. Are you funding us to go there? How are we going to get a deal while we're here? The lady closes a file and she walks out. The meeting ends. In other words, she just shows us the middle fingers to say that, get out of here. We don't want you around here. Go. How are we going to get a deal in America without going to America in the first place?
Right.
But she didn't know who she was dealing with. 2 weeks later, we did our pitches. We were introduced to guys at Home Depot in America. They were so excited to hear, because it was a time when the story of the wet wax was brewing. She's like, I'm very excited to hear about this product. I'm interested. Let's have a
So you
conference
do go
call.
to America, like the movie
Literally.
said, coming to America.
Right.
Okay.
Then we didn't necessarily have to go there physically.
No, I get you.
We had a physical.
So you comply with what she had asked.
Absolutely. We had a physical pitch, and then she brought her team. It was 1 a.m. in South African time. They were so excited. They gave us a listing. We signed the documents. But the trick is now, the document is right here. The trick is, in America, you can't do business without insurance. Every company that's got a product, there's got to be insurance. If anything goes wrong, the insurance will cover the supply, the retailer. $2 million worth of insurance that you must take at least. That's what they gave to us. We're working with an agent in New York who's facilitating this thing for us, who's working for us, and he said to me, asked me twice, Z, are you sure? Should I commit to this insurance? Are we going to go ahead with this thing? I said, the lady said, 20 million. They will approve for us. We need this thing agently. Go ahead. And he said, it's not easy in America to come out of insurance once you commit. You might pay for a very long time. I said, don't worry, this thing is sorted. Signed and sealed, delivered to us. The deal, they signed for insurance, everything is right here. Call the lady about a month or so later. Say, hey, you asked it, we've got it. Let's have a meeting.
Right.
She couldn't believe it. She said, come. We didn't send it on the email. We wanted to give it to her physically. And she came again with a smile and said, you sure? I said, yeah. Where's the signature? The signatures are there. And we've even committed to $2 million insurance contract with the retailer. Her eyes popped. She said, hey, I was joking. No, I was lying. I'm not a due diligence person. There is no such a thing. And she walked out. So, lady, you're not walking anywhere. You serious? Said, I'm not. Forget anything I told you. What do you mean? She walked out. This time we're going to escalate this thing real big. We're now angry. And the time is against us. We've quit our jobs this time. It's been how many years now from 2012? It's now for 2014 beginning. Then we started making noise at IDC that, hey, you can't do that. Take us seriously. We don't appreciate this kind of treatment. Then they see this 2 million seriousness of this thing, that, hey, this thing is going to be very problematic because we may be sued for it. Then they want to do everything they can to get rid of me. They did a real quick job. They said, no, we're going to continue doing a due diligence, so the internal audit will bring his people here to assist. And they brought someone from internal audit, a very phony guy, who came to find anything he could find against me that they could use against the IDC. Just a brief background. I had got an ambassador from the IDC to went to UJ. So they're trying to look as back as then. What could I have done wrong that they could use against me to get rid of me? And the guy was digging and digging and digging until even they were questioning even the localities that they said we should abandon. One of them was with Massmart. And another one was with Micah. These are in their own words. what had happened, Massmart had written on the face of the email. You literally printed like this, right? On the email as it was. And then Micah had written it on their letterhead, like a letter as an attachment. So all of these were before them. Then what I had done was to print it like this, because we're submitting it physically. Yeah. Then I had taken the logo, the Micah logo, macro. I put it on top so that you can distinguish between micro and Micah. Yeah. Not to say I was creating a letterhead. To him, he's like, I got something. This guy faked the letterhead of Micro. But the content is exactly as Macro had written it to us. Of course, then he went to Macro behind our backs and asked Macro to sue us. Macro said, for what? He said, he's faked your letterhead. And Macro is like, what is this now, Z? These people want me to sue you. Okay. The guy literally spoiled our deal with the guys at Macro. Then I'm asking, but he did not want us to know this was going on in the background. Anyway, long and short, he spoiled the deal, and he comes with that. He puts my name on the delinquent register. And he also goes on to say, I've lied about my qualifications. The IDC sent me to school. They have all of my academic records. If I wanted to lie, I couldn't have lied to the IDC. If there was even a reason to lie about my qualification, because I'm self-employed, I don't need to prove any CV to anybody. What had happened when that guy was writing exams, was busy doing whatever he was doing, then we went to IDC to escalate, and they said, but these numbers were prepared by a chartered accountant. I said, I am as a chartered accountant as he is as far as education and training is concerned. I went through the same process myself. Of course, I'm not practicing chartered accountant. I didn't write the exams because I had to focus on this thing. Then he had something to use against me. Then they put my name on the delinquent register. And they sentenced me to 10 years.
Of delinquency now?
Yes.
Okay.
This is now 2014 April.
Yeah.
I'm like, no trial, no hearing. They hasted this decision and they got to the CEO. Remember, we gave this lady this thing from the US as early as February around about. By April, my name was on the delinquent register. They don't want to deal with me. No one must pick up the phone from me from the IDC. This guy's delinquent. He shouldn't come any close. It's nothing to do with the product. Yeah. They're just using anything as they could find. And the CEO they got the CEO to sign, Mr. Geoffrey Cleanup then. And then I wanted to speak to this Geoffrey Cleanup, the CEO, that, sir, they made you sign something that you don't know about. Eventually somebody sneaked his number because not everybody at IDC is against us. Then when I told him, he was very furious. The matter had already ended in court then. Because I was suing them to say, why would you do that without proving
You were suing them for the delinquency
for delinquent register. How do you put money on delinquent register for things like this that you did not even investigate? Right. There was no internal hearing or anything like that. Then the CEO said, pull that matter out of court and let's have internal hearing here. Then in the internal hearing, I proved all the lies. The guy lost the case. They removed my name from the delinquent register. Right. Long and short, 2016 this is now. My name is out of the delinquent register. How many years have been blown away? And I said to them, I'm not planning to sue you. My success is in the market. Let's have the product in the market, and then it will succeed for itself. I need my funding. Let's continue where we stopped. Yeah. Then they said, oh, well, it's been too many years now. We can no longer proceed with the due diligence. Let's start from scratch again. We need fresh deals. The one with Micah is now dead. The one with Macro they dead by now. Then we had to start from scratch again, get new deals from Pick and Pay, etc., etc. Then one time I got a call from Clicks in Cape Town because we're now approaching all of these organizations. The guy sat with me in Cape Town and he said, can you supply me with 3 million rolls a month? If you do, I'll give you the deal straight away. We will be partners. I said, let me go back to my guys in Joburg because all we needed to prove economic merit is that, those kinds of deals. Yeah. Then go back to Joburg. I spoke to these guys. I said, here's what Clicks is offering. They said, no, it's too big. We can't find that. It's too big. You're starting up, start small. Like, are you for real now? Then we had to abandon that deal. Then we started with Pick and Pay. Pick and Pay was affording the start small approach, as it were, that you will start with their Pick and Pay spazers, you upgrade to franchise, and from franchise, you keep going higher. Then we did all of that, went through the process. We got that economic merit side of thing. And then when we got that, then they said, that's not enough. We need to have feasibility study. Remember the 3 requirements? Letters of intent, contracts, or feasibility study. They say you need all 3. I said, feasibility study, how? On who's going to fund feasibility study? Because it costs money to do that. and said, don't worry, we'll give you 500,000 to do the feasibility study. We'll hire external people to do it.
Right.
And the process went through. External people took 2 years to complete feasibility study. 2018 beginning is completed. And they had said, they looked at me in the eye, they said, the feasibility study findings come back and say this thing is negative, we will not fund. That's the end of story. But if the feasibility study says it's positive, there's economic merit, then we will fund. It's final and binding, we agreed. Then the results came, it is final and binding, positive. They were compelled to approve the 3 million that we were talking about.
Sure.
The 3 million was approved in 2018 July by EXCO based on the findings of the feasibility study, 300-page report compiled by chartered accountants and other qualified people. Anyways, when that then happened is after that, the funds are approved, then they dispersed in October 24th. The agreements are here. So the agreement says you've got a moratorium period of 3 months. Another agreement says 4 months. We always will work with the 3 months just for the benefit of the doubt. You don't pay within this period. It's like your holiday.
Yeah.
Only after that, then you start paying. And the effective date is the date when the funds reach the supplier, when the agency dispatched the first round of funds. That's 24th of October, 2018. Now count with me the moratorium. The first month is 24th of November.
Yeah.
The second month is 24th of December. The third
January.
month is 24th of January. And the moratorium is clear. You start paying on the first day of the following month.
Yeah.
So that will be the 1st of February,
Yeah.
officially, if you work with the 3 months moratorium. But if you
Gotcha.
work with the 4 months, then it's going to be March. Anyway, on the 1st of January, now let me tell you, on the 31st of December 2018 is the last day of Mr. Geoffrey Cleaner, the CEO, who got my name out of the delinquent register by insisting the matter be pulled out of court. He was the only force that was holding these people against me to stop their nonsense. His tenure ends on the 31st of December 2018. On the 1st of January, the new CEO comes on the 1st of January 2019. That's the day they froze my money. Funds are paid to suppliers, not to us, to start producing this. While the product is still under production, they froze the funds. We could not have a final product on the 1st of January.
Let me understand in the 6 minutes that left. And you know, here's the thing. I wanted you to explain the entire process like you have.
Right.
Because, you know, entrepreneurs will go through this particular process as you have just spoken to it now.
Right.
And they will bump into the same kind of things. They will bump into the logistical aspects and they will bump into the human aspect as well. And those two are really, really important. Where are you now? Where are you in the space with the IDC and product now? Because I'm looking at product.
Right.
Here is product in front of me, and you know, if I believe you and you say it works with water, it works. Where are we now in court, and why are we in court, and where are we with product?
Absolutely. Let me summarize it as
Sure.
quickly as possible. Then the funds are frozen prematurely during the moratorium period.
Right.
That's a breach of contract by them. Then we're complaining. Why are you breaching the agreement? Because we haven't even finished producing the product. What's going to happen to the million rand that's stuck in stock?
Yeah.
They deny that they have breached the agreement. In fact, at first they first agreed that, it's fine. We will correct that within 10 days. A guy is going to come and take this matter to Exco and correct that within 10 days. Then 10 days becomes 2 months. The stock is literally left for destruction because manufacturers are pulling it out of production line. Then the guy realizes he's in trouble. He just blew 1 million rand worth of stock. He can go to Exco and report that. When this Exco was approving this transition, they were excited to say, make sure this guy succeeds. He can go to Exco and say, I just messed up. Then he's going to throw us under the bus. He prepares a fraudulent report, and it's a 3-page report. And he says there's no economic merit in this thing.
You're right back at the start.
Against a 300-page report. His one is just 3 pages. And he says the business has failed to perform between January and July. It was frozen in January. It could not perform because you froze the funds. We could not have a product. It never started. You killed it at birth.
So at this point,
Long and short.
yeah,
We then escalated, of course, and the media got interest in the story back in Feb this year. Saturday Star broke the story and put it online as well. And they sued the media. They say you cannot sue, you cannot report, we cannot have it online until these facts are ventilated. We had reported this case of fraud to them as early as the 6th of June 2019. The CEO didn't act on it. They abandoned it until the media started making noise. And they said, no, we have to conclude our internal investigation before you can have the story out. Otherwise, it's defamation. Then the judge says, you know what? We will give you the order. Pull it out from the online platform until the internal investigation is concluded. They're refusing to do internal investigation. The judgment was passed in June this year. It's now November. They won't do the investigation. They are interfering with the investigation at the DTIC. And then even SICA is refusing to investigate their member, which is where the problem really is.
So where are you with product now? This Iwipe that I'm looking at right
absolutely.
now, where are we
product
with product?
Is in the stores, is doing well, and it's been doing well without their support, because we had to now gather family and friends budget to do a couple of stores. But we got a listing with Pick and Pay that takes us all the way to Nigeria. We can't fulfill that because we don't have a budget to send stock worth $1 million across the borders.
If I went to the store today,
absolutely, and
I would be able to buy Iwipe on
next
on
door. Go to Killarney, Pick and Pay Killarney. Otherwise, go to Woodmead, Norwood, all the way to Pretoria. Most Pick and Pays in Joburg and Pretoria have it. So we can only service the ones that we can afford. But the opportunity is massive. We could be in America doing this thing. We can't go there. That deal is almost dying. They're refusing to release our money. Our funds are approved. They just froze them. They're sitting there not being used for what they were meant to.
But I can go get this product.
You can get the product from the shelves. But we want to do more. We quit our jobs to do these things so we can fly freely. But now we're being restricted.
How much product can you provide? How much product are you providing
You
for
know,
market? So the question is, how much product are you providing at the moment for market?
we're juggling with 50 to 100,000 rand worth of stock. We have that
50 to 100,000 rand per month?
per month. Let's
Per
put it
month.
that way, because the orders roll in per week.
Yeah.
Then we deliver weekly, and then we recycle the cash.
Yeah.
Like it comes back, we send it back to store. But we are meant to run a big business, but now they're forcing us to run a small business. We are a big business. This is an innovation that's exportable.
The IDC says we'll see you in court.
They all drive you to court because they don't use their money in court. They use taxpayers' money to litigate. They open a case as early as 2019. They just freeze it in court. You're on your own. You have to compel them to file their papers. To compel is money and more money. They are happy to do all of that, and it's corruption. It should be stopped. We've reported it to different places. You know, what frustrates us the most is SICA doesn't want to investigate their member because there is a fraud involved here. We've given them in black and white, and SICA is the fabric that holds our economy.
Why do you still need their money? Why? In essence, you're in production. It's being sold.
Absolutely.
You know, you're making money. It's going back into product. Why do you still need their money?
You know, as an industrialist, you don't. 100,000 doesn't become $1 million. You need $1 million worth of stock. It's like you're in a vicious cycle if you're playing at a small. It's like you know when you go to the beach, there are waves, and then beyond the waves there's a dip. It's calmer there. You want to get to the calmer side, but if you're playing with a small budget, you won't cross the waves.
You're saying that money could elevate you.
That's what it's meant for. That's why the IDC. We even in the heavy manufacturing department at IDC. So now we are meant to do light manufacturing. You can't cross the bridge without the capital. That's why it's industrialization. It works with capital.
Zithande.
Man,
Zithande, you know, it's a story. It's a long story. I'm going to wish you luck, bro. Here I've looked at something that says Iwipe and technology involved, and it looks and feels like normal toilet paper, and it looks like a product that, you know, I would buy and I would utilize.
I promise you, once you go wet, you will never go back.
That's how we end Power Perspective tonight. Once you go wet, you will never go back.
That's right.
Yeah, it's 1 minute past midnight at the moment. Zithande, of course, Mbala, entrepreneur, is my guest. And you know what? I think it was important for you to tell us of a journey of a particular nature so that anybody else who's thinking of a journey and bumps into the first hurdle understands that the first hurdle might be the second hurdle and a third hurdle and a fourth hurdle and a fifth hurdle. It's 2 minutes past midnight. It's time to go home. Thank you so much, Broer, for coming on to Power 98.7. It's been appreciated. products in store. I'm going to go look at it. And yeah, it's something that I could tell you that my household would begin to utilize because of the practicality of it. Thank you so much for coming into Power Perspective.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Yeah, from Karabo and Papsi, who've been working the show, Sicelo here on the buttons. Nomsa is going to bring you the news. My name's Denzil Taylor. Much love. Good night.
Power News.
Wednesday in the top stories at this